I really have been visiting heaven since I was a teenager, and this next video is about to show it. My name is Dakota Lee. I have a gift to see in the spirit. I'm a professional animal communicator, and God's been letting me visit heaven since I was 12 years old. This next video is from when I was 14 years old. So this is a vision on 8/17/09, and I think I had it about 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And so, I prayed in tongues for 10 minutes to like captivate all my senses so I could actually focus on what I was seeing. That worked really well. And so then went up to heaven, and God was, he was sitting on his throne, and has the edge of heaven. You can look down into the entire earth right here. And then there's the throne right there. Yeah, you can see that. And so he was sitting in his throne. He was like really happy to see me, so ran up and gave him a hug, then stepped back down in front of him, and he's like, guess what? And he had the most beautiful grin on his face. And I was like, what? And all of a sudden he jumps up and then lands right on the edge of the throne room. And I was like, and he's like, there's a revival going on in your country. And as in, your country is in like the one that he showed me on that map. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. I'm like, where's the party? He's like, oh, it's going on somewhere else. Come here. So we went to it, and it was like this mob of angels. And they were just all together dancing and singing and just jumping, and they're off duty. I think they're all little Jesuses when they're off duty. But and Jesus was in there somewhere. You having even more fun. And they were all just really happy, and so I got in there too. I sang a note, and it was, I didn't actually sing it out in the physical, I sang it in the spiritual, but it was like the most gorgeous note, and it like, everybody listened for a second at least. And I was like, what was that? Because I can't sing that well. And he's like, Jesus is like, that's what your voice is going to turn into. And I was like, because I always love being able to sing, so I'm excited for that. I sang a song and the angels danced to it, and then another woman, I'm pretty sure she was an angel, and she sang in it. She was even better, of course. I think she was like a praise and worship angel, and so she sang, and that was wonderful. And then all of a sudden brought back to remembrance that the people in heaven are able to look down onto the earth and see the goings on. And so all of a sudden I look down, and there's like this porthole about this big. And I can see down into the earth, into that spot where I guess the revival was going on. And Jesus was down there and up in heaven. Don't think about it too long because you'll get confused. But he was down there and up in heaven. And Jesus said, yeah, do you want to go check it out? And I was like, that's possible? Really? Because I was shocked like that. How is that possible? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So went down there and just kind of sat against the back wall and watched everything, and oh my goodness, the people were so in love with the Lord. There were about 15 to 20 people in there, and there was a pastor or prophet up in front or something, and I think they either had 2 singers, 1 singer, a guitar player who could sing as well, something of that combination, and that was all the music they had. That's it. And they didn't have electricity, but the pastor was talking. Oh my goodness. I got the feeling he was prophesying, and I couldn't hear what he said. If I had probably asked for interpretation, I would have, but they're speaking either in tongues or in a different language that I don't know. But so that was really cool, and they were just praise you, Jesus, and a few people were slain in the spirit up front on the stage area. It was this dilapidated little metal building, and that was their church. And they were just, oh my goodness, they were having such a wonderful time. And so I was like, can I be part of that? And I heard myself say, well, sure, but it's a little harder. It's harder without the music being part of it, because I can't physically hear it, and that is harder. But I told myself, no, I'm not going to believe that lie. And so I said, I'm going to be part of it, and I was, and it was just so wonderful. And at one point, like I just couldn't. I had to move my hands like really fast, without like bursting. So, yeah. So that was just awesome.
The Jesus hands.
Oh, that's right. And so sometimes Jesus does this a lot, actually. is Jesus was up there with the pastor, and Jesus would walk around and like put his hands on people, and all of a sudden they'd like burst with the Holy Spirit, or like maybe they'd fall down too or something like that. But most of the time they'd just like burst out in tongues or their language, or say something just like just burst. And so overflow, just spout overflowing of the Holy Spirit. And so, but sometimes the pastor would walk around the crowd and like touch all the people's heads, and Jesus does this a lot, but he's a spirit, you know, so he puts like his hand, he like merges it, only hands, so his hands are like in the pastor's hands, so they're like one hand, and he stands right behind the pastor, and they both were like doing this, and they were touching people, and it was just so cool. And yeah, he's done that before. I've seen him do that in my church. So anything else?
That's it.
Yep. So much faster than writing it down.